Good morning, Green Thumbs. I haven't been on here for like a week. I've been busy. There's something I want to show you today. Think you can guess what it is? Stay tuned. I'm going to show you my vivarium. This is my first ever attempt. Overall, I think it went pretty well. We got the plants in it last night. We're just gonna let them acclimate, see how it does for approximately a month, and we'll go from there. So here we have it. I took a 20-gallon aquarium. It was my son's old hamster aquarium, and I converted it. When I say I mean mostly my boyfriend Drew. I was just kind of along for the ride. I had all the ideas, but he's the one that made it happen. Anyways, we converted it into a vivarium. It is bioactive. There are isopods and springtails in the soil. We do have a proper door for it. We're still getting that fitted, but I wanted to get the plants in here a while and get them started to acclimate. So currently it's just wrapped in saran wrap just to maintain the humidity. If you remember that piece of driftwood, I showed you that approximately a month ago when we did the winter houseplant tour. A piece of driftwood. That's part of a project for another video we got coming up. Stay tuned for that one. You can see there's a layer of charcoal there. So the egg crate is hidden by the pebbles that you see. And then there's window screen, and then there's a layer of charcoal. And then the substrate that the plants are planted in. And I'll show you the other side, and then we'll take off the saran wrap and I'll show you the plants. So here's the other side. There's some of the white foam I was telling you about. That's kind of what I want to cover. I don't want to see that. And then you can see here's my current temperature. So we're about 72 degrees. Humidity is slightly above 80, about 82%, 83%. I'd like to see that get a little higher. I'm sure as I continue to squirt water into it, I'm sure it will continue to rise. The ultimate goal is to put a pair of Azurus frogs into it. You have to let your tank establish for at least a month and make sure that everything is happy and healthy before you go adding live animals. Hi guys, editing me. I had these pictures I wanted to show you real quick. This one is us using the foam just to get the dimension. We started with the black foam. This is for ponds. The black foam doesn't expand as much as the white, so what you see is 2 cans of the black foam. We realized we didn't have enough. We went out and bought a can of the white because it expanded more and was able to hold the piece of driftwood. The second picture is just a side view of that. The third picture is where we decided we wanted to place the pots that would hold the plants. And then the fourth, the one on the right there, is where we foamed it in. This picture is us beginning to put the substrate on. So we covered it with silicone and then we pressed the cocoa fiber substrate into the silicone as it was still wet. This picture is when I began to add the substrate. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of the egg crate in there, but there is egg crate that is the extent of the bottom of the enclosure. And then there is a layer of charcoal underneath the substrate that you see. There's just another view of it. Here you can kind of see the different layers. We have the pebble, a piece of window mesh, charcoal, and then the substrate. And then here's a picture of it freshly planted. So let's get back into seeing what the vivarium looks like now that it's been established for a day. There you can see one of the isopods crawling around. I have done an incredible amount of research so far. If you're interested at all about doing one of these for yourself, this is certainly a learning experience for us. I highly recommend Reptilius. I learned a lot from him as far as substrate. I also watched his video to learn how to make the jungle vines. And he also, I learned from his video how to make the putty, which is right there. You use that to attach different things, the jungle vines, and help to conceal areas and help to make sure that your plants stay in. So Reptilius is a great resource. Also Serpa Design. He is the one that we followed to learn how to actually convert an aquarium into a vivarium. All right, so for the tour, there's a tiny little piece of strawberry begonia there in the front bottom right. The moss that you see is called rainbow moss. Here's a Rex begonia. Back there is a raindrop peperomia. I forget the name of this particular fern. I'm a little worried. It's already pretty big. It might not be in there too long. If it continues to grow, I'm afraid it'll kind of outgrow the enclosure. So we'll see. I guess I can just keep trimming it. A piece of Syndapsus. And then there's that driftwood. And then up on the second layer, if you will, there's also pieces of moss. I got that from just like Petco, aquarium moss, or I think it's called like terrarium moss, amphibian moss. More Syndapsus. Here's a piece of the philodendron brandytotum. I got the brandytotum at the same reptile show that I got the driftwood from. And then a piece of Syndapsus trebuli, silver Syndapsus. And those I just kind of used that putty, the terrarium putty, and stuck that on. So hopefully it'll take. We'll find out. More begonia. More Syndapsus. Philodendron brandy creeping in. More of the rainbow moss. I did have that attached kind of to the top, but the putty gave loose, and I kind of like the way it just hangs over there like that, so I think I'm just going to leave it for now. And then back here is a little cubby that we built, hoping that the tree frogs would go up there and kind of sit and look, and then we can see them. Guys, I'm very proud of this. This was quite fun to make. We're going to learn together. We're going to see if we can get it established. There definitely was a learning curve. We said as we were making it, there were a lot of things that we would do differently. Specifically the foam, how we applied this dirt on the silicone. We would go about that a little bit differently. We tried to do it all at once, and we learned that it would be much easier to work in sections because we just felt rushed, and we would have liked a thicker layer of that substrate there on the silicone that's part of the foam. And this, I think it just has such an expression. It actually kind of looks like a frog's face, which is why I ended up picking this one. And these little knuckles here remind me of bones. I just thought it was really neat. And then this jungle vine comes all the way out to the glass. So we're kind of hoping that the frogs will climb on that. We'll see. And then there's the floor. Some of the leaf litter was part of the isopod container that I had purchased. Some of it I went outside, I was watching YouTube videos about how to sanitize it, so I just picked up a couple leaves and sanitized them and threw them in there. And then there's just pieces of spag moss that have either fallen or that I laid in there. So all that's left really to do with this vivarium is get the hinges on and get this front door on, and then we'll be done with this. I had so much fun making this and putting this together and shopping for the plants and just overall designing it. If I get this established by the end of the month when we go to the reptile show to purchase the frogs, if this ends up being successful for me, I'm going to make another one pretty soon. So if that's something that you guys are interested in seeing, the entire process from start to finish, I'd be happy to do a series on it. It was a lot of fun. It's not a cheap hobby, I'll warn you of that. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff we learned, some things that we'll do different, some things, because we had to buy everything essentially to start it up this time, I have a lot of extra stuff. For instance, now I have extra valves. I have all the supplies that I need on hand to make more jungle vines. The list just kind of goes on and on and on. But yeah, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I don't recommend doing it until you've done a lot of research. But this was awesome. So I hope it takes off for me. I'll keep you guys updated as far as the vivarium goes. And yeah, super excited. But how cool is that? Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. There won't be a Hoya show this week. I'll pick it up again next Tuesday. I've had a crazy work schedule. We've done some remodeling here around my house. So there hasn't been much time at all to record. Plus we've been trying to get this knocked out. So I wanted to get this up, show you guys what I've been up to this past week. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Any suggestions, let me know. This is our first experiment with a vivarium, so hopefully it takes off for us. It is beautiful. I am really happy with how it turned out. Alright guys, talk to you soon. Bye.